today is sixth Sunday after Pentecost, and the Gospel is taken from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 13, verses 1 to 23. It's parable of the sower. Sometimes I would much rather fit the Gospel into my life than fit my life into the Gospel. Too often, I would rather interpret Jesus' life than have him interpret my life. I'm more comfortable trying to understand the gospel than surrendering and giving myself to the gospel. The gospel challenges me. It challenges the way I see myself, you, and the world. It challenges what I believe and the way I live. It challenges my private concerns, interests, and desires with those of Jesus. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. I don't think that I'm only one it challenges. The gospel challenges people in every age and in every place. It always has it. It did it in Jesus' days and still does today. It challenges us to think, see, do, and be differently. It challenges us to change. In some sense, to really hear and understand the gospel, or to make us uncomfortable. I've come to believe that the discomfort is God's grace leading us and guiding us to a new way, a new life, a new world. Let's not turn away from the challenges, the discomfort, and the good news of today's gospel. So how might the parable of the sower interpret our day, our time, and the world circumstances? Where does that it makes us uncomfortable? What is so challenging about a sower who went out to sow? We could answer those questions in 1,000 ways, but there is also one way. Do you have a chance to see the picture of 3-year-old Syrian boy, Alan Kurdi, drowned on 2nd September 2015. He and his family were refugees trying to reach Europe. This picture quickly spread around the world, prompting international responses. What if sower went out to sow and over the last 5 years planted more than 1.5 million seeds in our land in Canada? What if God is sowing himself in our land through the lives of the immigrant children? What kind of soil are we offering them? Some might say I am stretching the situation to fit the gospel. I don't think so. This wouldn't be the first time God has revealed himself through the life of a poor child. This wouldn't be the first time God as a child refugee has fled the violence in his hometown. The seed of God's life and presence comes to us in a lot of different ways. Sometimes we ask for it, other times we don't. Sometimes we recognize it, other times we don't. Sometimes we're receptive and open to it, other times not so much. Regardless, the seed has been sown. That's a given. It's given in today's parable and in today's world. The variable is the soil. The variable is us. This is a range of receptivity in the sowing of God's seed that Jesus describes as 4 conditions of soil. A sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some children landed on a path. They thought it would be take them somewhere. They hoped it would take them to family, a new home, a new life. The path was dead end. They found no home. They received no welcome. They were carried off. Other children encountered rocky ground, but it was okay. They were accustomed to living between a rock and a hard place. Besides, there were some soft spots between the rocks. At first they sprang up. People wanted to help and do the right thing, but they got tired, frustrated, and overwhelmed. It was too much, too hard, too demanding. The children couldn't put down roots. They couldn't endure. They fell away. Other children fell among thorns. They were tripped by political agendas and posturing of both sides. They were cut by the thorns of fear, anger, prejudice, indifference, and self-righteousness. They were choked by the thorns of others' concerns for themselves, their land, and their possessions. Other children were received and enveloped by the soil of love, compassion, and acceptance. They were nourished with and by a life they couldn't give themselves. They grew and their lives bore fruit. The four soils Jesus describes as inner landscapes, conditions of human heart. We must therefore examine our own heart. We must reflect on our own soul's condition. We must consider what soil we offer. The seeds God has planted in our lives, regardless of who they are, where they came from, and how they got there. This is about only the children. It's about all people, all relationships, all circumstances. What soil are we offering them to stand on? What is the soil of our heart? So, what do we do with all these children? These and also not immigrant ones, children all around the world. I don't know. But at the end of this parable story about the sower, it comes to my mind Alan Curtin and other foster children's names. And they are the key answer to understand today's gospel. Amen.